Okay, we're rolling.
Hey, welcome back to the How to Podcast series. It's Dave with you. We're 234 days into my 365-day challenge of doing a podcast every single day. It's the 22nd of August. It's episode 786. Here I am. I'm still here. I'm still fighting to meet this objective that I've given myself. Do I expect you to do this? Absolutely not. But I wanted to prove to myself that I could, and I wanted to be in a creative space in 2026. There's a lot of things inwardly focused that this year is meant to be for the How to Podcast series. And I'm wrestling with where do I go from here once I get to the end of this year, which is flying by. I got to tell you, the 22nd of August already? Oh my gosh. It's almost back to school time here in Canada, going into September. So I just, there's been a lot of things happen for me and my family in this last 234 days. And I have no idea what's coming up tomorrow, either do you. But I wanted to do just a quick reflection about this milestone so far of 234 days straight of episodes here on the podcast. Share some thoughts, share some reflections, and hopefully give some insight for you and some inspiration for you on your journey, whatever your challenge is, whatever lies ahead for you, that we can reminisce together and kind of take this as a mile marker, maybe, to kind of say, okay, let's just pause here and go, look what we've accomplished, look what we've done, and where are we going in the next few months to end off the year? Glad you're here. Thank you for being here. If this is your first time here, I'm Dave. I live in Ontario, Canada. I host 9 podcasts, over 2,500 episodes total, and about 250,000 downloads across 9 shows. So that's kind of who I am, I guess, if those numbers matter to you. Anyway, that's who I am. And if we're just meeting for the first time, thanks. I love for you being here. I do have a podcast community where we talk podcasting. I've been doing it for 4 years. And you're always invited to come join us. It's completely free. And I'd love for you to be there and participate as you can and be part of a community of podcasters who love to support each other. So if you're looking for support, because nobody should podcast alone, come and be with us. I'd love to have you there. Let's get into this and some reflections. Again, thanks for pressing play. This is a shorter episode. I'm glad you're here. Thanks for being part of this. Let's go. So I want to just name the scale of what's going on here. Just put a name on this and just identify what's happening here. I'm 234 days into 365 days of daily episode content for the How to Podcast series. Now, this isn't common for many shows, especially a podcast about podcasting. Typically, you're looking at a weekly episode, maybe more than a weekly episode, but typically a weekly episode. Sometimes a monthly episode, depending on people's time. And I want, as we go through all this, just remember, I have a full-time job. I'm a caregiver for my 2 grandchildren during the week. And I do this on the side, and I don't get paid to podcast. Nobody pays me to talk to you. So I'm not getting a salary to do this. I don't work for a podcasting tool, website, hosting site. I don't have anybody inside the podcasting space as a company telling me what I can and can't say on this show. I haven't sold my content to anybody. It's just a guy named Dave who used to be in his basement, now in his kitchen, sometimes from the backyard, recording and putting out content for you. I don't charge for what I do. I don't have ads in my podcast. I've had people ask to be on here to put ads in front of you, my wonderful listeners, but I've turned them all down because I don't want to annoy you or myself with advertisements. So that's kind of my bias right there. I know it's on full display, but anyways. So I'm 234 days into 365 days of content. I'm also producing for my other shows. So there's actually about 10 to 14 episodes a week across multiple shows going out for my podcast. Living the Next Chapter alone has 3 episodes a week. I'm already preloaded into October and November for that show with already recorded, completed episodes waiting for the calendar to catch up with me. I've had to shut off that podcast from new guests until at least November of 2026 because I just have too much content and I have to work my way through it to get it out the door. So nice problem to have, right? Those episodes are done. So those are 3 episodes a week, 7 episodes a week for this show. And then on top of that, I have Dad Space, which is weekly. I have the podcast editing and support show, which is twice a month. I just on and on and on and on. I got multiple shows, lots of stuff happening, right? Canadian Podcaster Magazine, twice a month. So yeah, there's a lot happening all at the same time. A lot of plates spinning on poles. And it's fun. It feels like running with scissors. Basically is what I'm doing. Most podcasters will quit before episode 10. That's kind of the overarching thing in podcasting. They start a show and they end a show. They don't even get to the double digits. And some people get to double digits and then they stop too. It doesn't matter. Yeah, it happens, right? So I'm on track for these 365 plus episodes this year. And it's just so much happening in the background. I can tell you that it isn't just consistency that's keeping me going. This is a public experiment in discipline, creativity, resilience, and understanding that real life pressure around podcasting. I know I've turned up the dial for myself. I get that. But this is a milestone that 234 days in, I'm still here. And I can tell you, there's been 1,000 reasons to stop. But I'm still here. I'm keeping my commitment to myself, to you, to do this in front of you. And if you've listened to all of the episodes this year, that's amazing. If you've been going through and picking the titles that work for you and skipping the rest, that's great. They'll still live there for you. Anytime you're bored, you got 365 episodes this year to listen to. So there's a lot. And think about this. Some podcasters, weekly podcasters, are doing 52 a year, and that's it, right? So 365 in a year is considerably a different outlook on content creation. The idea is the generation of topics, recording, editing, just a time to do all these things. And I'm a team of one. I have no assistants. I have nobody helping me, just me. So that's kind of behind the scenes of what's happening. And I think as I head into, day 235 and 236 of this year, I'm just thinking about what's coming in the new year for me after this is done. And that's just kind of the back of my mind. I'm like, where do I go from here? I'm curious what you think, but that's kind of what I'm wrestling with. There's some things I just kind of want to bounce off of you, some reflection in the real moment. I don't have anything written out here. I'm just I have some prompts that I've given myself to say, talk about this, Dave, and we'll see where we end up. I have no idea. We'll just kind of figure this out together. This whole thing this year is this saying that I keep talking about, do what you can with what you have where you are, is more real to me today than it has ever been. This has happened for me in many contexts. It happens about my workflow and how I approach podcasting and how I fit it into the margins of life. This is my full-time job. I have a full-time job. I work nights. And I do this on my days off and in the mornings, afternoons, wherever I can fit it in. It really is in the margins of life. When I have time, I just make it my priority. I make the time happen. I'm not a type of person who sits around and waits for time to find me. I go get it. I go find it. And I don't have that excuse that, if it's not easy, it's not going to happen. Well, I'm the opposite. If it's hard, that's more challenging to me than when it's easy. So I want to find it. I'm going to make this thing happen. I've adapted my workflow, my family time, my work, limited time and space. I've had to work around a bunch of different things this year. And my mindset shift from having perfect episodes to being to focusing on my frequency and understanding the difference between frequency and consistency has really popped up for me this year. And just following the whole process of being persistent, being prepared, and progressing further. Those are the 3 things that have really been top of mind for me this year. So there's been times where episodes have gone out, and I can tell you, I am not super happy with the quality of the audio. It's not what I would want to do. I'm recording in my kitchen, and it isn't all hard surfaces. There's nothing soft around me, and it's not the way I would typically do my show. I could easily say, I don't have the proper space, I don't have perfection to work in, so I'm not going to podcast. Or I could show up, do what I can with the tools I have, do what I can with what I have where I am, and release what's good enough, what is okay. I've recorded podcasts on my phone in the backyard under a tree with no internet and no power. So, there's a lot of reasons for me to stop. And people have actually said, Dave, you can take a break from this challenge. And I tell them I can't, because that's the idea of a challenge. You don't get participation awards for this. You either you follow, you set the goal, follow the goal, meet the goal, or you don't. And I'm going to meet this goal. So I've allowed good enough episodes to go live, and I've been okay with it. Will I go back and visit them in the future? Probably not. But it's good enough. Right? The message is out. The episode's done. I can move on to the next one. So, good enough episodes. Yeah. They still serve my listeners, and it gives people the permission to do their own version of good enough. Right? This is the How to Podcast series. I don't just talk podcasting. I want to demonstrate what's possible for you. And you adapt it to whatever you want. Don't use this as a measuring stick for your success to do what Dave's doing. But when you have those moments of doubt, I hope you press play on the podcast and go, okay, some perspective. I needed some perspective here. And Dave's giving me that by showing up 234 days straight. Sometimes we don't have the ideal conditions to do what we do, but that can't be a quick and easy excuse for an exit. You got to figure it out. And as well, life can really knock you off the path of your best laid plans. And you just have to realize that sometimes you need to just be able to flow with what's going on around you and still show up. I really understand the power of just showing up as a part of your success. Life can really just knock you for a loop. I've had 2 back-to-back floods. I've mentioned this several times in a 5-day period, which have devastated my house, emptied my bank account, have given me sleepless nights, a lot of stress. And podcasting hasn't been an additional stress level. It's been a release valve. It's helped me to kind of navigate and let this stuff out, because I need a break from all of the construction and deconstruction and disgusting poo water in my house. This has been a chance for me just to take a break, walk away from it, and have some time to think about something else than all of the stuff that's pounding on us right now. It's devastating our home. It's a chance to do something different. So I don't see this as an escape from the work. I see this as a respite from the work. And I need this space. I need this. So I've had external floods. I've had illnesses. Family crises have come up this year that really can disrupt even the best systems around what I do. I've really learned about how to build buffers in my time around my planning and being organized enough to meet this objective of 365 in a row, now 234 days straight. Understanding backups, understanding that I really don't have control over tomorrow, and to be flexible, really, to be able to not let things overwhelm me. And a lot of podcasters that I meet in podcasting get overwhelmed by what they're trying to accomplish. And by no means am I using this challenge to elevate myself above everyone else. That's not the goal of this. But if you're struggling to find the time to podcast, then you really need to make some hard decisions about what can I give up? What can I do less of to make more time for this? It's got to be part of your plans. You can't just kind of slide into podcasting and hope for the best. And then there's the emotional side too, where, we've been dealing with loss in 2026, loss of feeling safe in our own home and losing personal things, and the frustration and the financial cost to all of this as well has just been overwhelming. But I just keep going anyway, because again, this commitment to myself is something that is here to make me, hopefully, with the goal of being a better person at the end of this. And what can I learn personally? How can I develop in the process? The third part about this is just time and how to actually find it to do all of these things. That's really been one of the lessons I've been learning 234 days in. So my weekly time budget, one person asked me, what's your weekly time budget? And I'm like, oh, that's an interesting way to put it. For me, just to kind of give you a sense, in the summer months, I take an extra day off. I split my summer holidays. And because I work nights, I have like a night schedule and a day schedule. And when I go on my days off, typically I have 2 days off. And the first day is changing my clock into the day focus. And then my last day of my 2-day break is me changing my clock back to a nighttime thing. So I really don't get a back-to-back experience of having days off. And it's a nice weather. I'd much rather take time off when it's nice weather. And so I've been working 4 days a week instead of 5 all summer. And that's great. So I have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday off is right now are my regular days off. I've worked every weekend, Saturdays and Sundays for the last 6 years. So I haven't had a typical normal weekend like you would have. So I work all the time. And 5 days a week really takes a toll on me physically. Like, I'm 56 and it's not easy to keep up with 25-year-olds anymore. And the work is heavy and hard and it's demanding and it's exhausting. You come home and just crash, right? So my weekly time budget then is when I'm home. I come home on like a Monday morning after working all night Sunday into Monday. My wife leaves for work immediately when I get home, so I get to see her for 10 minutes. She's off to work. She starts her job at 8. I finish at 7. And then I'm home with the kids, my grandkids. My son works Monday to Friday, typically, so I'm home with them. I don't go to bed. I stay up, and I'm up till about 4:30 on Monday after working all night Sunday. So that's a good 19, 20 hours-ish straight that I'm doing what I'm doing. And so I don't get to do a lot of podcasting on Monday, so I know that. So then I'm recording in advance. I am pre-planning and batching out my content, recording it and setting it to go live so that I can sleep at 4:30 when my wife gets home. And I don't have to worry that I'm going to miss a Tuesday morning release, for example. Again, because I'm doing daily content. I have to plan this out. I can't just, the day of, figure out what I'm going to do. It's got to be ready the night before. So it goes out at 6 a.m. That's the time frame that I've given myself. That's how I approach what I do. So I'm always batching, right? So that's part of it. I've worked that out. I kind of have a plan now, 234 days in, and I kind of been working the plan. Works for me. It helps. I not only batch the episodes, but I batch the YouTube thumbnails and the promotion, and then writing articles now on LinkedIn and Substack once a week. I do all that stuff in addition to what I'm doing. I'm creating my transcripts. I'm doing my show notes, and I'm leveraging the tools that I can to help me do this. But really, this is really just Dave white-knuckling his way through this. So that's really kind of my approach and how I'm doing this. So again, I realize you have your own version of this and how busy you are as a human, but you just have to figure out what works for you. And my path may not work for you. And your path might not work for me. You've got to be okay with that. You got to figure out what works for you. And the other fear that I have, and I've heard people talk about this in podcasting, not specific to what I'm doing, me personally, but is maybe I'm just overwhelming my audience too much with too much content, with 365 episodes in a row. I had somebody ask, Dave, are you concerned that people are going to leave your show because there's just too much stuff? And I actually didn't really contemplate that too much in 2025 when I came up with the idea of doing this. I've framed this all the way through that I'm not expecting anybody to keep up with my content and to pick and choose what works for you. I know Eric in Texas, he's like 160 episodes behind right now. And that's fine. That's fine. Eric, thank you for listening. I'm not expecting people to keep up with me. I'm expecting people to listen when they want to the episodes they choose to listen to. That's fine. Will you miss something? Well, maybe, but the episode's still there. It doesn't disappear. So you can always go back. And usually on your player app of choice, anything that you mark as a complete or you finish listening to, you can hide those episodes. So all you have left are the things you haven't listened to. That's how it works on Spotify. So I can quickly keep track of what I have and have not listened to and come back to it when I have time, when I feel like I need it. Maybe I'm going to be your road trip or your next flight companion on a long flight. Maybe that's what works. But however you do it, the podcasts are still there. And not everyone listens to every episode. And every episode is possibly somebody's first episode. So I got to keep that in mind the whole time. Yeah, there's a chance that people might feel overwhelmed by how much content's going out. And if they leave, that's sad. But again, I'm not doing this to make you follow every episode. This is your option to listen how you want to. I can't control how you play the podcast and how you interact, but it's there. There's a lot of episodes. I get it. There might be too much content for some people. I get that. But I haven't really heard from anybody that's been really upset with how much episodes have come out. So I'm still pushing forward, and I'm framing it again as I want to be in a creative space in 2026. I want to put myself in a spot where I need to show up. And by showing up, I'm going to learn more about myself, about my content, about my audience. It's given me a lot of clear indications. I'm watching my stats, I'm watching my analytics, and things are pretty healthy. So I'm pretty happy with that. So I'm going to keep going. I'm still doing a lot more solo episodes right now because of my setup being temporarily out of normality for me. To do an interview right now is kind of hard because I'm on the main floor of my house where everybody else is. And it's really hard to kind of get everybody else to change their schedule so Dave can podcast or do an interview. So my interviews are kind of on hold in August, September, maybe even October, until I can get a workable space in our lower level of our house. But for now, this is what I can do, what I can with what I have, where I am, right? And I just have to adjust. So if you're a interview-based podcast and something like this happens and you have 2 floods in your house and you lose all your recording space, yeah, you might not be able to keep podcasting in that situation because you don't have your setup, and that's going to be really hard. So solo episodes are my saving grace here. I can do a solo episode pretty quickly, record it, edit it, post it, and be done. I don't have to work around somebody's schedule. So you might want to, as a podcaster, if you are an interview-based podcast, to tap into some solo episodes here and there. It does give you some flexibility in your calendar. Again, you don't have to work around somebody else. And you can do things on your own and batch record several episodes in one sitting, allowing you to take an entire month off. If you're doing weekly episodes or every second week, it gives you a chance to walk away from your show without doing seasons. It's an easy way to fix that. So it's given me a lot of different things that I can do to approach this, and it's really been helpful. There's a creative impact to this as well. I find the more episodes that I do, 234 now in a row, the more ideas I have. I haven't run out of ideas. I have an email folder of anything that catches my attention, a thought, a passing comment, something, even if it's unrelated to podcasting, but I can bring into podcasting as an example, a story, something that to support a bigger idea. I email it to myself and I put in the subject line topic, and then I give it just a couple words about what it's about, and everything goes into a folder. And I just mark the email with a little star indicating that it's been done or finished. And that's how I sort through, and anything without a star I haven't talked about yet. And I have probably 100, 200 emails sitting there waiting. I can sort it by date. I can sort it by anything and search up and find the next topic for tomorrow's episode. So I have a very deep well has been dug over 234 episodes of content ideas. I haven't run out of ideas, and you'd think I would with this many episodes that you're going to run out of things to say. That's not a problem. And that, again, when I look at 2027, I'm like, am I just the daily podcast guy now? I never anticipated doing that. I don't know if 2027 will bring that out for me as well, and I'm just going to keep going with daily episodes. I don't know how I go back to 3 a week now. I don't know how I would ever go back to 1 a week. I don't know what I'd do with myself. I think I'd be climbing the walls. I'd be like, I got a podcast. So I don't know what's going to happen, but it's really helped me to, doing this daily content, it's really helped me to shape in how I think about my show. Ideas just seem to flow from the last idea to the next idea. It's helping me with my editing speed. Everything that I'm doing more of it. And by doing more of it, I get better at it because of repetition. And that's how you grow. If you want to improve, you do it more often. That's it. You want to ride a bike better? Ride your bike more often. If you want to do better at the gym, go to the gym more often. If you want to eat better more often. It just makes sense, right? If you want to podcast better, then podcast more often. Not maybe this much, but podcast more often. I've gone from being inspiration-driven over being discipline-driven as well. When I first started this year, it was about, I got to meet this objective. And now it's coming to the part where I have more ideas than I have time. So I could do 2 episodes a day for 2026 and still have more ideas. As I do more content seems to find me. Creativity finds creative people. Creativity skips people who aren't in a creative space. Just seems to happen that way. So I like the idea of continuing this at least to the end of the year, and then after that, I have no idea. I do need to protect my creative energy. I do need to make sure that I'm not exhausted, but at the same time, I find podcasting fills my cup. So people are saying I should do less, or this is ridiculous. But I'm finding every time I do this, I feel more energized than depleted. So if it makes me feel better and energized and it's great for my mental health, then I'm not going to do less. I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing because it's working for me personally. So there's a lot of things wrestling in my head here as I go through this. So what does this mean for 2027? That's the thing nagging at me as I get closer to the end of the year. I know I got a few more months ahead of me, but that 234 episodes in, I'm way past the middle, right? I'm way past that. I can see the finish line off in the distance here. And I'm like, now what? After I run across that finish line, do I take a break? Do I stop podcasting? Do I do more? Do I do less? I don't even know what to do at the end of this. I'd love to hear your thoughts and what you do for your show as you go into the new year. Do I continue with this in 2027? Do I shift to a different cadence? Or do I just make daily a regular challenge for me? I don't know. Which of my 9 podcasts deserves more focus, less frequency? Is there any of my shows need to just stop? And I go reduce that number from 9 down to 8 to 7 to 6 to 3? I don't know. I have no idea. How do you decide which child you like the best? Which one's your favorite? How do you say no to the other kids that you created? These podcasts are like children to me. How do I just not show up for that child anymore? I don't understand how to do that. So I'm really torn as I go into 2027 about what does podcasting look like for Dave? Because again, I love doing this and I love having time with you. And I'm sure there's elements of podcasting that you love and there's elements of podcasting that you detest. You got to figure out which one is the thing that brings you back to podcasting and do more of that. Podcasting has helped me with my family. It's helped me with my mental health. It's helped me to get my ideas out of my brain out into the world. I'm not a writer, so writing is like laborious for me. Well, that's a good word. It's laborious for me. It's something that's just like, no. I'll do it if I have to, but I'm gonna be like kicking stones with my toes at the same time, angrily going, I don't want to do this, but I'll do it. Talking and being on a podcast mic is a lot easier for me. It's really, really simple, and I'm really enjoying it, and I feel like I'm getting some traction. at the same time. So, yeah. What did I think this challenge would feel like on day 234 versus what it actually feels like? I don't know. I think I'm where I need to be. Could I be doing better? Sure. But I'm happy with where I am. I feel proud of what has been accomplished to date. There's more to do. And if I think too much about the future, I'm going to get overwhelmed and I could possibly stop or get distracted or discouraged. So I'm going to just keep recording. I'm going to record tomorrow's episode and set it to go live and keep going and keep going and keep going. And this is going to be a year of 365 plus episodes of Dave out there in the world doing what it does to connect with people, build relationships, and open doors. How many doors? How many people? I have no idea. I really don't. But all I know is that the people that have reached out, the people that have supported the show through my Buy Me a Coffee and SpeakPipe messages and all that, that part's working because I show up. What episodes this year surprised me the most in content, response, or personal meaning? The episodes I've done with my phone, in the backyard, under a tree, with bees bugging around me and my neighbors chatting on the other side of the fence. I never thought I'd be doing that kind of stuff. And it's been interesting and refreshing. It's a proof positive that you can podcast anywhere with anything you have. Do what you can with what you have where you are. Has become like the thing for me this year. And I love it. I'm going to have to make a shirt. When did I almost quit? What kept me going? Well, 2 floods. That wouldn't make you quit. What kept me going is the fact that I still get to connect with you and get my thoughts out and share and unload that release valve. That if I didn't deal with it, my mental health wouldn't have been good. So podcasting is something I don't have to do. It's something that I get to. So what am I proud of as far as getting 234 days in? That has nothing to do with numbers. Like, what is something that's encouraging for me as a creator in this process? I think it's the connection with people and obviously the opportunity to meet more people, celebrate more podcasters, and shine a light on a thing that I love. I love podcasting. And if this show brings anybody any inspiration to podcast and do it more often or to join podcasting or keep podcasting, then it's worth it. What do I want my relationship with podcasting to be like in 2027? Is it a tool? Is it a hobby? Is it a business? Is it something to encourage people? Is it an experiment? What does 2027 look like for Dave and podcasting? Again, you got to take in the scope of the different shows that I do, but what is my relationship with podcasting? I think it's just, it helps me in my quest to collect people. That's my goal. I can collect cars, I can collect guitars, I can collect all kinds of things in life. I'm a Coca-Cola collector. That's one of the things I love to collect is antique Coca-Cola memorabilia. There's a lot of things that I'm interested in, but the biggest thing in my life that means the most value for me as a human is to collect people. That's my goal. And podcasting has given me the opportunity to collect and meet some of the most amazing people in this world. And if you've been in my world, on my screen, on my show, on any of my podcasts, thank you for taking a chance on a guy in Canada who's just super curious and wants to meet more people. It's really great. What would sustainable greatness look like for me across 9 podcasts and a family? Sustainable greatness is simply the fact that I'm still here. I still love podcasting and I still love spending time with you. And any time that anybody's reached out to me, it's just been encouraging. I just want to thank you for that. Podcasting is great. And 234 episodes in, it's taught me a lot, and I know I have a lot to learn. And I think that's the other thing, is I want to keep myself open to learn more and keep growing in podcasting. And that happens by showing up. So I'm encouraging you to show up and keep podcasting. Thanks for being here for 234 days in a row. We got lots more coming in the future, and I really appreciate you being here. Thanks for being part of the show. We'll talk soon. So here at the How to Podcast series, we love to hear from you. You might think that we get a lot of feedback. Man, we don't. We don't get a lot because people just feel like, why bother? Like, why? Does Dave really care what I have to say? And I do. I actually do really care what you have to say. I love your input. I love hearing from you. And we've started a survey for our listening audience, which includes you right here, right now. And I'd love, love, love for you to head over to howtopodcast.ca. And you'll see our survey right there on our website. And take a few minutes, come through, answer the thoughtful questions we're asking of you to make the show better. Not just for you, but for everyone. Your feedback is really going to help shape the show. And I selfishly just want to hear from you. So if you're thinking, Dave probably already knows what I think, I don't. I really don't. I'm not good at reading minds. My wife will confirm that completely. So I don't really know what you think of the show. I don't know if you like it, if you like how long the show is, how long the episodes are, that Dave's doing 365 episodes in a year. Oh my gosh. Like, I would love to hear from you and get your thoughts on this very show right here. So head over to howtopodcast.ca. Click on our survey link. It's also in the show notes for every episode, in the most recent episodes, and I'd love to hear from you. So, as a listener of this here very show, your feedback can make this show so much better. So much better. And I'm not drowning in emails and voice messages and speak pipes and buy me a coffees right now. So, I'm putting the ask out to you right now, as a listener of the show, and you're still here, that you take a moment, head over to our website, click the link in the show notes for any episode, and go to our survey and let us know your thoughts about this show, how it could be better, and what you love, and what you're like, Dave, can you stop doing this? That would be really helpful. Thanks for being here and being part of the How to Podcast family. See you over at howtopodcast.ca. Talk soon. Thanks for being here. Bye. You're still here? Great. Thank you for being here. Thank you for checking out the show and being along on the journey of the podcast. I really appreciate you. And a question I had was, Dave, for your podcast, how are you scripting out your show? And I don't script out my show. That's how I do it. I have, again, over 2,500 episodes across the last 8 years now. So I have kind of got into a rhythm. I think when I first started, I did rely on more well-written out thoughts. I wanted to make sure that I covered something from A to Z, A to Z, and I wanted to make sure that I did that, and I did it well. I didn't want to leave something out and go, oh, I should have said that, right? So I did have things written out a little bit more at the beginning, but I quickly found my own groove that worked for me. And again, that's what this podcast is about, is that you need to pick the path that works for you, learn from many sources, and pick the right path, right? You got to decide that for yourself. Don't copy everybody and try to do it everyone else's way. Do it your way and what works for you and how your brain works and how you stay organized. So for me, I have my main points. I have the title of the episode usually first in my process. I don't do it last. So I know exactly this is where I want to end up, and I want to make sure I answer and meet the promise that I put in the title of the episode. So that's my guiding principle throughout. I have my main points. I have maybe a couple stories or a resource, something, a book, a clip from social media that I saw, something that sparked something for me that reinforces what I'm talking about. I'd always like to bring in an outside supporting piece of content to what I'm talking about. And the biggest thing is I try to make every episode about you, not about me. And by doing that, I'm focused on you the entire time. I want to make sure the content's relevant to you, timed well for you, and I only focus on the most important parts. Get rid of the fluff. So no matter if you go with a fully scripted podcast where you read word for word, or you do kind of bullet points and big ideas and kind of go from there, whatever works for you, do that. If you're going to script your show, you're going to read from a script, then you need to practice reading. Like, you need to practice reading because Some people read very well. Some people have a really hard time reading out loud. You read internally in your brain and you don't speak it with your mouth. It's different. And so if you're going to be a script reading podcast and reading your script on your show, please practice reading out loud. You need to learn how to do that on top of podcasting. It's another level, another layer to add to the mix. Please practice reading. Read anything. Read your favorite book out loud, into a microphone, into Audacity, whatever. It's going to help you. So please work on that because it's going to make your show better. And if you need any help, howtopodcast.ca. Anytime. Love to talk to you. Cheers. Talk soon.